Hello, it's Zeph from ChatThing here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build an awesome AI shopping co-pilot using our new client-side power-ups functionality. So what is this AI co-pilot going to be able to do? Well, it will be able to do things like add products into a basket on behalf of a user, navigate them to different pages, so it could take them to the checkout or a product detail page, and they could look up their order statuses, all via chatting to the bot, and the bot running client-side power-ups on the front end that are going to let it form actions on behalf of a user. So as a developer, this is going to be a really easy way of you integrating these AI chat co-pilots into your apps. So in this example, it's an e-commerce store, but the things that we're going to learn could easily apply to any other integration that you might want to do. So probably the easiest way to get an idea of what we're going to be building here will be to show you. So let's have a little look at the demo. So here we've got our fake e-commerce store that's selling a range of lovely AI generated merch, which is quite meta there. And this is just a very basic demo. It's not real at all, but you can do things like you would expect to in an e-commerce store, like product to your cart. See, there it is. You can have a look at your cart up here. You can go and get more information on products, go home, and eventually you can check out as well. So that's all as you would expect, but the cool part is what we've integrated here with our AI Copilot. So let me just reset this. There we go. So for example, the Copilot will know what we've got in our cart, so it can look up what we've got in there. It can tell us what's in there, which is pretty cool, for a subtotal, and then say, actually, I don't want the AI generated fortune cookies anymore, so let's remove the cookies. So the bot's now going to be able to actually get rid of that item. And if you were eagle-eyed, you would have seen that that has now disappeared up here, and there's now nothing in the cart. So we could say something like, what would be a good gift for my dad? So it's going to give us some recommendations here. Obviously, in a real store, this would be a lot more useful. These are all fake products, but let's just pretend that my dad would like some machine learning socks. So we could say, cool, add the socks. It's added it to the basket. It all updates live. It's in there now, which is pretty nice. And then it can also do things like navigate you to different pages. So let's say, AI art generator, or rather than tell me, let's say show me. There we go. So it's taken us to the details page there, which is pretty cool. So it can navigate. Let's add that to the cart as well. Let's add that one in. It's pretty nice. And then let's pretend that we've already done an order now. I'll just show you this. So you could get your order status. So it needs the order number and the email, so we can just make one up because this is fake. There we go, that's my order number. And my email is support@chatthing. So it's getting the order details. There we go. It shows you what's in it. What's in your order, total price, and the shipping information. So as you can see, these are all sort of, especially like the order lookup, they're all very useful things that you can have your Copilot do that go beyond just the normal question and answer. So now that you've seen what we're going to be building, let's show you how we can do it using client-side power-ups. Okay, so now that we've seen what we're building, let's get going. So the first thing is you're going to need a ChatThing bot. I won't go into creating it here, but we've already got this one set up for this Copilot tutorial. And then there's just a few settings on here that's worth pointing out. So we've got our welcome message. I can help you purchase some AI merch. We could add some example questions in here if we wanted, like what's in my cart? Obviously not that important. And then you want to untick use our default prompts because we're going to be writing our own one. And for the moment, we'll write a fairly basic system message in here as well, just setting up the bot. So we'll say something like, you are a helpful shopping assistant that helps people find and buy awesome AI merch. So just giving it a role there, which is always good to do. And then for the moment, we'll just give it a tone that we want it to answer in as well. So we will say answer in a fun, informal, if I can spell it properly, jokey and friendly tone. And then in terms of the model, for this demo, we may as well use the newly released GPT-4o Mini. And then there's a few settings here that are always good to turn up. So increase the context size. That's useful because it's going to be getting a lot of information about the products when they're added into the basket and that sort of thing. So you want it to have quite a big context size so it can handle all of that. And then the max message history as well. By default, that's on 6, but whack that right up to 12. Again, just because in this sort of context where it's like performing actions for users, it's useful for it to have a larger message history so it knows what it's trying to do. And then other than that, I think we should be good. So I'm just going to update the bot there. And then one thing we need to do next is we need to turn on the advanced SDK functionality. So to do that, you need to go to channels and then web. And then if you scroll down here, you will see this little tick box, which we want to turn on. And you're probably noticing this little warning that's here as well. And basically, by turning on the advanced SDK features, it does mean that your bot is more prone to prompt hijacking because you can now adjust the system prompt from the front end. This is like a trade-off that we have to make if we want to allow this more advanced client-side functionality. It's not really something you need to be too worried about, it's just something to keep in mind. So we're going to update settings there, like so. So now we've got our bot all ready and set up. Next, we need to embed it into our projects. So now that we've got our bot, we need to embed it into our project. So what we've got here is a very basic Vue.js single page app setup. It's in Vue, but I don't want that to be the focus of this tutorial. What we're going to show you is kind of framework agnostic, really. So we've got our HTML page here, and the first thing we need to do is embed our bot into it. So if we go back to our bot here and we click on embed, and then we want to get the embed as chat widget code here. So I'll just copy that and come back into here and paste it in like so. And then if we come back and look at our projects, we can now see we've got our little bot. Great. So now that we've got our bot added, we want to use the SDK that is made available to start adding in functionality. So when you add the embed script, you will now see that you have this global object on the window, window.chat thing. And this is our SDK, and this is what we're going to be interacting with. So we need to make use of that in our app. So if I come back into here, we've got this app.vue, which is the sort of entry point for our Vue app. Again, I don't want to make this about Vue. What we're about to learn is going to sort of apply to any front-end app, regardless of the framework. So because the SDK is loaded in via this deferred script here, it does mean that window.chat thing might not be available straight away. So to work around that, we need to essentially write a bit of code that is going to wait for it to be ready. And then when it is, return the SDK so that we can use it in our Vue.js app. So to do that, I'm just going to create this composable here called use chat thing. And then I'm just going to paste in the code, but I'll talk through it. You could use this in any app. This isn't Vue specific, really. So what we've got here is this use chat thing function, which is going to return a promise. And that Promise is then going to resolve the chat thing SDK once it's ready. So we've just got this function here called getChatThing that is going to look to see if window.chatThing exists. If it does, it will return and resolve it. If it doesn't, it's going to use setTimeout to call itself again in 200 milliseconds. So that will just keep happening for however long it takes for the chatThing object to appear. So let's save that, and then we'll come back into our app.view, and then we are going to want to get hold of that by using the composable. So I'm just going to import the view on mounted hook here, which is going to let us run some code when this view component is mounted to the page. And then let's get a reference to the chatThing SDK by using, we need to make this, an async, by using our new composable like so. Cool. So that now should give us access to the SDK. And we can just check that's working by doing something like chatthing.show, which should automatically open the window down here. So let's do that. You can see that's now open. So if we refresh, that will be opened automatically. So that's good. We've got access to the SDK and we can now use it. Awesome. So first things first, let's let the bot know about the products. So to do this, we're going to be using another new SDK function, which lets you set the system message or extend it from the front end. So let's choose extend here. So what this is going to do is it's going to take our original system message that we wrote in our bot settings, and it's essentially going to add in some additional information on the end. So this is really powerful because it means you could get pages to add extra information about the page that the current user's on or things like that. And in this example, we're just going to use it to tell the bot about our products that are available. You probably wouldn't want to use it like this in reality because it's going to waste a lot of tokens because you're constantly sending the bot the products. But it's just a good way of demoing this new feature for the moment. So in this app, we have got this list of products here. Again, in production, you would never just have an array containing all your products, but just seeing as this is a little demo app, that's fine. So we will import those from here. If I can spell import right. Like that. And then we are going to, so this second argument in here, this string, this is what's actually going to be appended into the system message. So we're going to just basically give it this bit of XML that's going to help the bot know that these are products. And then we're going to stringify that array of products. So let's just save that and check that that's worked. By coming back into here. So now if we speak to the bot and we say, what are you selling? It should hopefully, there we go. It can now tell us it's got a list of products. Cool, so that's good. That's step one. So now we get on to the interesting part, which is integrating client-side power-ups that are going to let your bot take actions on behalf of the user. So let's dive right in with adding a product to the cart, because that's probably the most exciting one. So if we come back here, and we are going to want to use the register power up function. And this takes a configuration object that needs a few properties. So the first one is name. So this is the name that's going to appear in the UI when this power up is called by your bot, and it's also going to help the bot decide when to use it. And a description. This is purely to help the bot understand what this power up is. The user never sees this. So we can add a product to the baskets like so. Again, I mean, it's quite similar to the name in this example, but sometimes you might have a power up that is a bit more complex and then needs more of a description. But in this case, that should do. Next, we have parameters. So this is where you define the arguments that your bot needs to add a product to a basket. So in this situation, we've got product ID, and we want to give it a type of string so that it knows the type of data that this is. We want to give it a description, the unique product ID, and then we want to say whether it's required or not, and it is required. So the bot now knows that whenever it calls the add to basket power up, it's going to need to have a product ID to call it with as well. And then in addition to that, let's add quantity so that we can add more than one of a product. So we'll give that a type of number and a description, the number of items to add, and that is also required. Like so. So then finally, the last part, which is the part that's going to actually run your code, is the handler. So we need to add a handler here, and the handler is simply a function that takes some arguments and then returns a result. So we'll get to that in a sec. So these arguments here are going to contain the product ID and the quantity. And within this handler, you can do whatever code you want to here. So you could call an API, you can use an existing store that you've got available to do something, or you could just write some additional code here. So in this example, we've already got our little cart store up here, and this has got a method on it called add to cart, which we're going to use down here. So the add to cart function takes a product ID and quantity. So what we can do is we can pass those through, and args.qty like that. Oops, let's make that args. And now when the add to basket power up is called, it's going to get a product ID and quantity. It's going to call this handler here, and then it's going to call our add to cart function. And the handlers always have to return a response, and the response is how the bot will know that whatever you've tried to do has been successful or not. So you can return anything you want here. I'll just show you what the add to cart function returns. So it returns the contents of our cart so that the bot can see the items that are in it, and it also returns the total price of the cart now as well. So if we save that and come back to our bot and refresh, and we say, can you add the recipe book to my cart? Hopefully we can see it using add to basket, get a nice explosion of confetti, and it's now added to the basket. So you can see how easy that is, and hopefully just this one example sort of opens your eyes to the potential here. You know, this is an extremely basic example, but you can run any code that you can run on the front end in this handler. So you can get your bot to do all sorts of things. You could get it to draw something to a canvas, and you can get it to call APIs, you could get it to send messages over a WebSocket. Like the possibilities are endless, and it's super powerful. and just such a quick way to integrate your bot. So that's the basics. We can add products to a cart. Now it's just a case of adding in some more power-ups to do things like remove from a cart and some other cool things. So let's do that now. Okay, so now let's add a few more power-ups to do some more functionality. I'm just going to copy and paste these. I won't bore you with me typing them out. But this one here is going to allow us to remove a product from a cart. So this one only needs the product ID. And then we're going to call this remove from cart function that comes from our cart store. And then let's add a few other ones. So let's add get cart. So this is just going to allow the bot to just query the contents of the cart whenever you need it. So in this case, it's got no parameters. And then in the handler here, we just return the cart that we've imported up here and the total price that we've imported up here as well. And the description is just get items and total price, get cart items and total price. And then let's add another one that is going to let you navigate to other pages. So we need to, so we've got our power up here, navigate to the given page. It takes a path parameter. And then in here, we are going to use our router to actually change page. So we just need to grab the router. So we'll do that up here. We'll import that from view router. So this is going to let you navigate to any page. For this, we're probably going to want to go and add some additional content to our prompt to make sure that it doesn't sort of stray off the rails a bit. So we're going to tell it the pages in our prompt that it can navigate to. So we just come back to the settings here and let's create a few more lines in here. And in here, I'm just going to give it this rule. So I'm just going to say you can navigate to the following URLs / the home page / products and then the product ID. So now hopefully it will be able to use that product ID that it's already got and generate the product URL to take you there. And then the checkout. Let's just see if that's worked. Oh, if we just go home a second. Okay. Can you take me to the fortune cookie page? Navigate, and there we go. It's done it. Cool. So that's working. What else can we add? So in our demo, we had the ability to look up an order. Obviously, this is all fake, so it's kind of, most of the code I'm about to put in now is just for the purpose of faking this order lookup. But I'm sure you can imagine what this would look like in reality. So get the order details. Now it takes an order number and an email, and then in reality it's going to do an API call here to try and retrieve that. But here we just generate some fake information and then return that all here. So that should work now. Let's give that a test. Great. There you have it. So you can see how you can build up this suite of power-ups to really allow your bot to do all sorts of things on behalf of the user. One other point to note here is that when you register a power-up, it returns an object which you can then use to do certain things. So, for example, some power-ups might not be relevant on certain pages, so you can get rid of them by calling the destroy function on them. So that will just remove the ability for your bot to be able to do that power-up. You know, you could be on the checkout page and you might want the bot to change the contents of a specific field on behalf of the user, and you only really want that power-up to be available on the checkout page. So this functionality allows you to do that. You can also do set enabled. So this allows you to temporarily disable it. If you don't want to completely get rid of it, you can turn it on and off, which again might be quite useful. But that's it really in terms of power-ups. So we'll be doing another video to show you some of the other features of the SDK. But that's it for the moment. Hopefully you're as excited about what this can allow you to do as we are. If you have any questions, ask in the comments or give us an email. But that's it for now. Thank you. Bye.